Hey everyone! In this video you will see the top 5 worst tech trees to research in 2021. From just irrelevant tanks to real bastards. Especially this video is useful for beginners and inexperienced players. The main criteria for selecting trees were comfort of playing on tanks of level 6 to 10, cost of research modules, and the relevance of the tank level 10. So, here we go. In 5th place is the Swedish tree of tank destroyers. Probably, you're at a loss and want to close this video, but take your time to do this. Let me explain. It's about the STRV-103B, but it's about the whole tree concept. Don't get me wrong. STRV-103B is a good tank. It has good mobility, good armor and a great gun. But the thing is, its mechanics take a long time to implement successfully. That's why it's hard to implement this tank. And battles now last on average 2 to 3 minutes. That's why it's hard to implement this tank. Moreover, many players, playing on Swedish tank destroyers, stand on the base all battle, and shoot at you every time you try to play aggressively. This is very annoying. In addition to not being particularly relevant currently, this tank is also toxic. Playing this tank not only gives you boring and dull gameplay, but also ruins the game for other players. But, in general, you can research Swedish tank destroyers. Unlike the next candidates. In 4th place is the tree of German assault tank destroyers. This is more obvious. At level 6 and 7 are the typical tank destroyers. Jagdpanzer IV and Jagdpanther. Quite well balanced tanks. Ferdinand, which is at level 8, is a more interesting vehicle. There is armor and a powerful gun. Perhaps, the only good tank of this tree. Jagdtiger, which is at level 9, in principle, cannot be called a bad tank. However, you will definitely not get pleasure of playing on it. And, now we come to the top of this tree. Huge, slow, without armor, Jagdpanzer E100. Oh yeah. The maximum miserable tank. Playing on it you will feel nothing but oppression. Yes, this tank has a very powerful gun. But there is no way you can implement it. Panzer E100 has bad depression angles. Because of this you have to entirely roll out on the enemy. So, you automatically become a bonus code for 2000 free damage. And at the same time, hearing no penetration is just disgusting. In 3rd place is the tree of Soviet medium tanks to the K91. Going forward, it's important to note that this tank, just like the STRV-103B, is quite good. However, it's not that simple. Let's begin with level 6. Here we have A43. A very good tank, really. Playing on it you will get pleasure. As for level 7, there is the A44. In short, not bad armor and mobility. And the ugly gun. From level 8 the situation changes. The concept of sniper medium tanks begins. Object 416 is a very interesting vehicle. Awesome gun and all. Not bad mobility. Low silhouette, great camouflage. And, of course, this tank doesn't have armor. This is a feature of the alt trait. On level 9 is Object 430 Variant 2. It's a copy of its predecessor, only on level 9. And for level 9 this tank does not seem so good anymore. The average damage per shot is the same. Average damage per minute is not much higher. It already smells like poop. As well as the K91, which is on level 10. Speaking of which, average damage per shot is the same as level 8, which is 320. It's very bad. You'll say, so what? The Object 140, for example, also has 320. Yes, but the Object 140 has armor and depression angles. Add to that the lack of armor. And you get one of the worst medium tanks at level 10. Yes, K91 has the highest damage per minute of all tier 10 medium tanks. But this doesn't compensate for other bad characteristics of the vehicle. By the way, all tanks of this tree have bad depression angles. And also the rear position of the turret. All this makes playing on these tanks uncomfortable. In 2nd place is the tree of bastards. Italian heavy tanks, autoloaders. The tree begins with P.43 bis. Quite a good medium tank. From it begins the conversion to the tree of heavy tanks of Italy. Here begins the most interesting. Caro P.88, heavy tank of the 7th level. One word. I describe this tank in one word. Bullshit. Okay, let's move on. In principle all the same can be said about the next tanks. But let's analyze them in detail. Progetto 54, which is at level 8 also has not good characteristics. He has special feature. This feature is 1500 damage per minute. Not bad, isn't it? It totally kills the playing on this tank. Even pretty good armor and mobility can't make up for it. The same applies to Progetto 66, which is at level 9. Just all the characteristics are a little bit better. And so, we got to the top of this tree. Rhinoceros. Rhino Freak and just Rhino Gollywog. Italian heavy tank of the 10th level. And by the same token, the worst heavy tank in the game. Let's begin with its advantages. Not bad mobility. This is the end of his advantages. Now about disadvantages. Very bad armor. Your hull will often be penetrated by basic shells. Moreover, your turret will always be penetrated by enemies on premium shells, without exception. Plus to the cheesy armor, is the ugly gun. Damage per shot is not bad, 490. Rhinoceros has automatic reloader mechanism, has 3-shot clip, like all Italian tanks. The mechanics are quite interesting. However, the recharge time can make you fall asleep. Or give you a heart attack. Depends on the situation. A very long reload time. Also, not the best penetration. On this tank, it's simply not possible to sustainably deal good damage. And so, dear friends, we come to the first place. Now you are about to find out, which tree is the worst currently. Which tree you should never begin to research. For it will bring you nothing but misery. And drumroll. The tree of German and Chinese light tanks. Yes, the first place is shared by 2 trees. Because they're both pieces of shit, and it would be wrong to pick one of them. Let's begin with the Chinese tree, because it's easier to describe. At level 6 is 59 to 16. Very good light tank. If you really want to play Chinese light tanks, I advise to stop on it. Further, the situation is as follows. Each higher level you get about the same tank, only at his level it becomes weaker. For example, WZ-132, which is at level 8 is not as good a tank at his level, as 59 to 16 at level 6. And the top tank, WZ-132-1 is an absolute crap. If you compare it with other light tanks, the T-100LT in Sheridan is much better. It is not clear why this tank is needed at all. Now about the German light tank tree. At level 6 is VK28.01. Old guys remember and cry about how it used to be. Now, unfortunately, it's just the dust of the old days. At level 7 and 8 are SP1C and Hiwi K12. Normal light tanks. However, at these levels there are much stronger light tanks, for example AMX 1357 or LTTB. At level 9 is Ru 251. Seemingly not a bad tank, but no. All because it is huge. Combined with a lack of armor, it makes the playing on it impossible. Level 10. Bastard named Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. You have no idea how disgusting that is. This tank is the size of an IS-4. At the same time, it does not have the best dynamics. And add to all this the miserable gun. The American light tank Sheridan kills this wretched thing in all characteristics. I strongly advise you not to start researching this tree. So, here you have seen the top 5 worst researched trees in World of Tanks in 2021. Thank you for watching this video to the end. I hope you found it useful. It's time to say goodbye. Good luck to everyone, and remember, enjoy the game.